Has Riva just made the 110 even better? This is the brand new 112 Dolcevita. It may be based on that model, but there are some significant changes. Mainly down there on the aft deck, we've got a rearranged tender garage and balconies. It's even got a hidden hot tub here on the foredeck, and there are more changes on the inside as well. It's 100 foot of Riva. Let's get going. I'm Jack Haines. This is YachtBuyer. Before we get going, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, hit subscribe and that bell icon, then you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. We've got to start down here because this is where we see the major changes over the boat that this replaces. The 110 had a much more traditional transom arrangement with a tender garage, but here on the 112 you have the tender garage, but you've also got this huge sunpad, and beneath that there's space for a 5-meter tender and a jet ski, but it's become much more of a living space, and adding to that are the balconies we now have on either side. Again, the 110 didn't have those. We can only put one down here in the show, but these extend the usable space by the waterline by 5.5 meters, and it creates much more of a living area down here. There's great access off this space as well. You have the passerelle that goes up to the quayside, but that also drops down into the water, so it becomes a nice stairway down into the sea. But like most yards these days, they're trying to get people close to the waterline, and it transforms how you can use this space. Empty the toys, put the lid down, enjoy the sunbathing space, and there's more to look at in the cockpit as well. It's obvious what sets Riva apart with the smaller boats. They're Rivas, but here this is competing, 110 feet with some serious hardware, and it's stuff like this that really stands out. The moment you come on board, you're faced by this beautiful wood, the gorgeous stainless steel work. It's only wood and stainless steel, but you immediately feel like you're on board a Riva. There's that thread running through all the boats. I love the way that they've included the boarding gate here as well. That just comes across on both sides to give you a bit of protection across this walkway. Access is easy up both sides, and then you're into the cockpit itself. This is quite a flexible area. This is all freestanding furniture, but they're pretty relaxed about what you have out here. Many people may want a table so you can dine underneath the shade, but there's a big table on the flybridge, as we'll see in a moment. So having this as a nice shady relaxation area, considering you've got all the water sports going on down there, this is quite a nice mezzanine where you can sit and take it all in, but you're in the shade, nice and cool. You're also close to the bar, which is always useful. There's a sink under this section. This is fixed, and then you've just got a fridge down here. The galley's right forward, so having a fridge there is really convenient. And then under this one, we have a third station for manoeuvring. So a pair of throttles here, little stubby throttles, so they fit underneath the lid. Bow and stern thrust as well, so mooring stern too. This is where you'll be doing it from. And then Riva tend to put guest passageways on the port side, crew on the starboard side. So this is access for guests down to the side of the saloon. There's a couple of side doors down there that we're going to see for a moment. And that means on the starboard side, that is how you head forward up to the foredeck. Right, down the starboard side, guest passageway, we have a boarding gate here, which is very convenient because if you're on a high quayside, this is where you're going to want to get off, not down there at the back, which is obviously quite low now. And then moving forward, we see the sliding doors. We've got these on both sides, much easier to sort of explain how they work from inside, but these open up and give you another access point out to this deck. And there's a crew access point here too, before we get to the steps, which lead up to the foredeck. This is a raised pilot house design, so the inner helm is just there. You can see the windscreen. And then what you have is the owner's cabin beneath my feet, leaving you loads of space here for yet more big living areas. You've got a nice sofa around here with a table in the middle, huge portion of sunpad here too, and then some shade from these poles that can be erected if it's really, really sunny. You want to be in the full glare of the sun. And what's nice is it sort of goes down a couple of levels, and you come to what looks like just another sunpad. In fact, there's tracks in the deck here. This entire unit slides forward to reveal a hot tub, a proper super yacht touch, and nice that when you're not using it, it's not just redundant space. Slide the lid back over and you've got yet more sunbathing space. This is really a working area for the crew, obviously. You've got your two windlasses, mooring gear as well, but it's all so beautifully finished. Even right up here, they've included a shower down there so you can cool off from the bow in the flagstaff. Absolutely beautiful. And another nice thing about this arrangement is that you can connect directly to the flybridge from the foredeck. This design isn't unique to the Riva, its rivals do this as well. And talk of its rivals, if you do want to compare it with its competition, head to yachtbuyer.com. You can use our industry-leading head-to-head tool to see how it compares side by side. Now onto the flybridge, the first thing you come to is this enormous bar section. This is, a genuine bar area. You've got the bar stools over there, this little raised plinth so you can knock up your drinks with the sink just down there. Big preparation area here as well, with all your cooling space underneath like you might expect. And then here at the back end, it's a lovely big grille with a carbon fibre effect finish, and there's a nice sparkly finish to these tops as well. It's a really substantial bar area, and that links down here to what is a really nice big open aft deck space. You can really see how long this deck is. There's a really good amount of room back here. Like downstairs, this is very flexible. You can really do what you want in terms of furniture. They've obviously got it as this kind of another sort of crash out place, but I think it's really nice. It has a sort of beach club vibe because you don't really need formal dining back there as you have it here underneath the hardtop, which is where you want to be. You're having lunch, you don't want to be in the glaring sun, and you can enjoy this absolutely gorgeous Riva table. Isn't that just a thing of beauty? Seating here is good. No backrest here, so the people perched on this end are going to be a little bit uncomfortable if lunch is a long one, but still a decent amount of space and room this side as well for a couple of director's chairs. There's a television here that raises up, so you can sit over there and watch the TV. And then right forward, what's nice is you have the helm there, but you've got a couple more navigator spaces over on that side with the same seat design. And then we have the flybridge helm. Now this is a really nice spot. I like the fact that you can stand and lean. You know, these all bolster, so you can get yourself nice and comfortable from this very commanding driving position. You can sit, of course, these drop down. You know, it's pared back. The helm down there is probably the place you're going to be when you're, you know, covering the hard yards, doing stuff at night, doing the long journeys. But it's nice. You can come up here, have a wonderful view, and obviously charge along at 25 knots, which is what this thing is capable of. The dashboard, a couple of screens up here, simple switchgear, this gorgeous Riva wheel. It's all really nicely done. But as I said, the most incredible helm is down there. Just have a look at this helm. There are 3 different versions of the nav package: standard, premium and super premium. This is the super premium, meaning you get 49-inch bonding screens, and they are sensational. Beautifully clear, a huge mix of data that you can have on here, from your navigation to your radar to all of the boat's systems, engine information. You want for absolutely nothing up here. It is superb. The view is a little bit limited through this sort of letterbox style windscreen, but that is often what you get on an RPH design. But of course, you're probably going to be doing a lot of the daytime driving from up there. At night, you'll be down here relying on the instruments anyway, so probably not too much of an issue. Now, it's got a pair of 2,600 horsepower MTUs. The top speed is 25 knots, and at 23 knots, it'll cruise for around 400 nautical miles. Of course, if you slow that right down to displacement speed, it's going to go a lot further. But interesting that they really have put performance as a bit of a priority. 25 knots top speed for, you know, 100 plus footer is pretty good going. The rest of this space is not just a driving area. You've got a little dinette here, mainly for crew probably, to keep the captain company when they're on watch, but it's finished in a way that guests can come up here and enjoy the ride if they want to, all beautifully finished in the rosewood. We're going to see a lot more of this downstairs, because down this run of steps we have the main deck. So it's crew access here on the starboard side. The galley is there, and there's a direct link via staircase to their accommodation, which is on the deck below. And then moving midships, we come into the main saloon, and this is a really lovely space, very flexible in terms of its furniture, both the layout and the design. Actually, if you have your own designer, you want to use their furniture, you can do that. You can have the dining space here, or you can have it there, like this boat has. I think this works really nicely. So the TV's there, so having these sofas here makes sense. And we've got these sliding doors on both sides, and that's a really nice feature, both for natural ventilation, but also giving access points off either side of the saloon around the boat. Right back here, yeah, your dining space is here, nice big table, and all the storage is very discreetly hidden around here, but you still get the nice Riva details. You pay your money for a Riva, you always know you're on one, but that's lovely. Of course, that means down here on the port side, we have access to the owner's cabin. The finish in here is just glorious. Even in this lobby area, this beautiful glossy rosewood and all the stainless steel and the mirror work, there's lots of shiny surfaces. It's a nightmare for polishing you for the crew, but it does look gorgeous. There's a day head here on the port side, and then this staircase is down to the 4 cabins of the guest accommodation. Right forward on the main deck is where we find the owner's suite. And another change over the 110 is that you have walk-in wardrobes on both sides. This one here, which is quite deep, you know, you've got hang storage on either side, and there's a slightly smaller one over on that side. But that's great, gives you lots of storage if you're on board for longer stays. Port side, Nice bureau here, somewhere to maybe do some work. You could probably make that more of a formal workspace. You know, have a proper chair there if you're actually going to use it as a working desk. And then another change is the size of the windows. And my word, do they make a difference. It is so lovely and bright in here. The views, even inside the show here with the water rippling away, it's beautiful. And they've lined up this chaise longue so you can lie back here and just gaze out over the water. It's gorgeous. And the other thing you'll note is the bed is here. Often on yachts like this, you'd have the bathroom here, bed over that side. But, you know, this works really well. Gives you space up on this bulkhead for a truly enormous TV. And then behind that is where you find the bathroom. And this is lovely because you have this beautiful contrast of the rosewood and then the marble on the tops and on the flooring. It's beautiful. Good size as well. Toilet compartment over there. Enough space for 2 big sinks and storage above and below. And look at that shower cubicle. Not only the lovely rain shower head and yet more marble, including a bench, but a big window as well. So you can take a shower and have a gorgeous view. Don't worry, there's a blind in there as well. All right, that's the owner's space. Let's drop down and have a look at the guest cabins. There are 4 guest cabins on the lower deck. You've got 2 forward, both the private en-suites, and then the same pretty much amidships, all doubles. However, there are some differences that I want to show you. So we'll start forward in this port side one. Now in this one, the first double, we've got obviously the nice double bed, and then you've got a bureau in the corner and a big amount of storage behind mirrors, of course, reflective surfaces absolutely everywhere. You have got a nice bit of hull window, but we've got a boat right next to us, so it looks a little bit dark. You'll see the difference in feeling when we pop over the other side. And then private bathroom as well, finished in a very similar way to the owner's cabin, which is great. Beautiful mix of marble and the rosewood. And then heading to the cabin next door, the difference is you haven't got the bureau or the storage over here. This is a Pullman bunk, Pullman being boat speak for, yeah, bunk. That drops down and it gives you an extra berth in this cabin if you do need to have a few more people sleeping on board. Bed is a very similar size. You still have got decent storage. It's just tucked behind the door. And again, the TV is nice and large, positioned opposite the bed, and you see the benefit of the hull window in this one. And of course, a private bathroom. Then, heading amidships, these 2 are identical. So we're going this one because the view's better. These are doubles, no Pullman in here. Bigger portion of hull window, the opening port as well, but you can see we're nice and low to the waterline. You might say a bit of a shame that you're not facing the water from bed, but of course people may want to watch TV in bed. That's why that's up there, and that's very handy. A wall of storage over there, and they've even managed to work in a very diddy little bureau, but that works nicely enough. And then here you have the bathroom. Just to give you an idea of the scale, these are slightly bigger. Really nice spaces. Toilet down there, bidet, big walk-in shower behind the door. It's beautifully finished. Okay, let's go and check out the crew space. You might think on a big sexy boat like this, they sort of push things like the galley to the side, don't worry too much about them, but this is a really good space. Up here on the main deck, nice and bright, big windows, so the views out are good, plenty of natural light flooding in. Yes, it's quite clean and minimalist, but I mean, you expect that of Riva. And actually underneath all these lovely sleek surfaces, you have everything you need. Induction cooking, oven below, there's a dishwasher tucked under here, wine fridge on the way in, and plenty of storage as well over here by the door and opposite me here. See cupboards overhead, so you know it's pretty well equipped, to be honest. Lovely big fridge over here that you can watch YouTube on. Make sure you subscribed if you haven't done so already. And then down through that staircase we get to the crew accommodation itself. Well, here we are down in the crew accommodation. The first thing I'll show you is the mess. There's space for 5 crew here, and when they're off shift they'll be down here. This seating area extends a little bit back there as well. The table opens up so they can dine down here pretty easily. A little bit of natural light which opens as well, that porthole, so you can get some fresh air down in this area. And of course they've got their screens up there so they can control things from down in this part of the boat. A TV too, and obviously the galley's up those steps, but they've got this little, not quite a galley, but somewhere where you can prep food. There's a fridge down here, sink, microwave, that sort of thing. Across the way you find the captain's cabin, nice private single berth with its own bathroom. Bit of a perk for the skipper, storage up here and a little screen on the wall as well, so he can make sure the boat's where he left it when he wakes up in the morning. Opposite have laundry facilities, washer dryer stacked here, and then we have 2 identical bunk cabins, so space for 5 crew in total. I'll just show you one of them. Bathroom on the way in, not sharing with the guys next door. And then right forward, yes, this floor goes up, but so does the ceiling height, so it's not too bad. The bunks aren't too close to each other either, and they've got their own storage in this section too. Okay, let's head to the engine room. Access to the engine room is via this door on the starboard side deck. You drop down the ladder into this ante-room outside the engine room. You can see we've got backup steering here and a screen for all the oversight of the systems. Through a watertight door, and we're into the main engine room. And what's really good about this design is, despite having that very low aft deck with the sunpad and the tender garage, none of that impinges on the headroom inside the area where the engines are. So you can see the clearances are excellent, lots of space around both engines, generators on both sides as well. They're really easy to get to. And if you add the fact that this boat has got fins and 2 gyroscopic stabilizers, it doesn't feel like they've had to pack all of that equipment in here. That is serious stabilization. The gyros for when it's stationary, and then the fins for when it's on the move, and on the move quickly as well, cruising at 23 knots. Yes, it's a Riva, yes, it's stylish, but you've got Ferretti Group engineering here, and you can really see that down here in the machinery space. You might think that they've just stuck a couple of balconies on the side of this boat and created a new model, which in a way they have, but it so significantly changes the way this boat functions that it feels like so much more than that. On the 110, you wouldn't have spent much time down here. You'd have been up on the flybridge of the foredeck. Now you have a genuinely lovely extra living space, and down by the water, which is where everybody wants to be. Platforms down, toys out there, enjoying the water, sitting on a sunpad. I think you're going to find people really gravitate towards this area. And it finishes off what was a pretty convincing package already. You have the looks, you have the style, you have the Riva name and 25 knot performance. Now you have the living areas to boot. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below, and whether you go for this or a Sunseeker 100 yacht. Thank you for watching that tour of the Riva 112 Dolce Vita. Hope you enjoyed it. Please give us a like and subscribe up there if you did. And if you want something else from Ferretti Group, something really different, we've got the only sea trial on YouTube of the Wally Y100. I'll put that up there. Hope you enjoyed that one too. Thanks again for watching. I'm Jack Haines. This is YachtBuyer.